Hey guys, it's your girl Vanessa. Welcome back to my channel and thank you guys all so much for tuning in again. So you guys, today we're going to be communicating with your spirit guide. So in order to do so, I have prepared 4 groups for you, and you guys, these groups are a little longer than I usually make them just because I want to try a new sort of style. And also you guys, I hope you like my new setup, my new background. If you do, make sure you let me know in the comment section, as well as giving this video a thumbs up. Also, if you're new to my channel and this is the first time that you've tuned into a reading, you know, I'm not going to tell you to subscribe right away because everyone does that, and it's just like, I want you to like my content. I want you to feel like you're getting value from my readings. So if this is indeed the first time that you're here on my channel, feel free to tune into 1 or 2 of these 4 readings in order to figure out what your spirit guides are trying to communicate with you. And if you end up liking the readings, finding them helpful or informative, make sure you subscribe before you leave in order to get my readings in your subscription feed. So yeah, you guys, we have group number 1, group number 2, group number 3, and group number 4. So you guys, another amazing fun fact about this setup is the fact that I'm so much closer to you guys, and you will be able to, you know, truly connect with the cards and see them a lot clearer than you did before, as I was like a bit further away before, if you know what I mean. But you know, now we're all up close and personal. So yeah, you guys, last little piece of information is the fact that the timestamps will be down below. So once you have made up your mind on which reading you would like to tune into, feel free to fast forward to your particular reading by clicking one of the timestamps. But yeah, you guys, I want to keep this intro short, even though I've already been talking a lot. But yeah, you guys, let's get straight into the readings with group number 1. Okay, group number 1, let's see what your spirit guides are trying to communicate with you right now. So I have not put the cards in any particular order. I'm just going to go with however it comes because I'm just somebody who is very intuitive. So yeah, let's get straight into your reading. So first off, we have the Fox Spirit. So I definitely see that your spirit guides are trying to urge you to think on your feet, or trying to let you know that you need to be quick, witty, and you're going to have to be attentive, okay? Because one thing with being quick is the fact that in order to be quick, you have to notice that things are happening. So your spirit guides are definitely trying to let you know to watch out, you know, keep both eyes wide open and keep sort of like your radar on, okay? So if there's any sort of negative vibrations or you're seeing red flags, I want you to take those very seriously, not to ignore those, as your spirit guides are trying to let you know that, you know, this is of importance. You have to be very alert. Then moving on, we have the Armadillo Spirit. So I can see in the Armadillo Spirit that it is essential for you to be setting more boundaries, okay? So I feel like maybe, just maybe, you've sort of been doing a lot of favors for people, or you've sort of been getting out of your comfort zone, but in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable to a point where it does not feel right. So if you feel like you've been doing things that you would usually not do just to please somebody else, it may be time for you to, you know, just tell the person like, hey, I gotta set boundaries here, okay? Like, I'm my own person. I kind of need to do my own thing. You know, I have to sometimes also say no to things. But you know, we'll see how the Armadillo Spirit plays into your reading as we move on. Next up, we have the Otter Spirit. So one thing that the Otter Spirit stands for is community, being together, and also, you know, that feeling of being loved. So I definitely see that your spirit guides are trying to communicate with you that even in times where you feel alone, even in times where you feel lonely, or, you know, maybe you've been single for a long time and you feel like, oh, the right one may never come. The Otter Spirit is here to let you know that you're never alone, okay? Sometimes you just need to open your eyes, you know, as already talked about in the Fox Spirit. Sometimes you just need to be very alert of who is already in your life and who is already giving you that emotional support and love that you need, instead of looking at, you know, feeling like you're sort of lonely and feeling like you don't have anybody. So make sure that you don't fall into that cycle of feeling alone and feeling like you don't have anyone, because it's not necessarily true. And if you start acting like reclusive, like you don't have anyone, like giving people that vibe that you don't really appreciate the ones who are in your life already, that is going to push people away. That is going to make people feel like, hey, like, don't I count? Haven't I been here for you? So look around and, you know, you will find the people who are there for you. You will find the people who truly love you and who can make you feel less alone and more loved and more taken care of. So we have the mountain as well as the forest. So the mountain definitely stands, you know, for a very grounded approach for strength, and the forest is like fresh of breath air. So I want you to imagine walking through a forest. I want you to imagine what it smells like, what it sounds like, what it feels like, and just envision you doing that. Envision you having that feeling more often. So I definitely feel like your spirit guides are trying to communicate with you that you need to get out into the nature more. You need to do more things to connect with yourself as a human being on, you know, the most basic level, on that level of being connected to the nature, to the outside, of getting fresh air, of going on long walks. So I definitely see that your spirit guides want to urge you to do that, as that may also help you with, you know, establishing boundaries and really thinking to yourself, what is it that I want to do and what is it that I'm just doing because I feel like I need to do it. And in the mountain, I can see that strength is something that you have in you. Strength is something that will be required of you very shortly, and I definitely feel like you need to take a lot of inspiration from mountains, take a lot of inspiration from the fact that, you know, mountains have been here for hundreds of thousands, some of them probably millions of years, and they're not budging, they're not moving. You know, wind and weather may happen, and there's always a little bit of change. There's always a little bit of, is it called erosion in English? I'm not sure, because sometimes my German is stronger than my English, but you guys know what I mean. Like, the mountains, they grow and they also get smaller depending on where they are. As a whole mass, they always sort of remain the same. You know, it really takes a huge force for something to happen to a mountain. So I want you to remember that you can be that strong person. You can be that mountain that withstands any sort of wind and weather, and, you know, that sticks to their guns. So I definitely feel like the mountain as well as the armadillo spirit, they're both here to tell you that setting boundaries and, you know, standing your ground is something that is essential, is something that you can't get around. And, you know, as much as you may not want to do that just because you don't want to rub people the wrong way, sometimes you just need to. Sometimes you don't have a choice, and sometimes it's the best thing that you can do for yourself. And it'll feel like a sort of fresh breath of air. It'll feel like sort of a new start, a fresh start, and you will know when it's right, okay? You just know when something is wrong, and you know when it's right. So if you need space, if you need to set boundaries, let people know and stand your ground. So let's move on. Ooh. We have the career change, writing, as well as oracle cards. So obviously what I'm drawn to intuitively is oracle cards. So I feel like maybe oracle readings, tarot readings, etc. is something that you've always been interested in, or even if you've newly discovered it, it's something that you sort of feel drawn to. So what I recommend for you is to maybe look into getting answers on a daily basis from cards, from oracle cards, from tarot cards, and you can get your answers from, you know, people like me. There are so many other amazing tarot cards readers on YouTube. So make sure that you go on a little discovery journey, and make sure that you go on a little route where, you know, you're able to find guidance through positive people, positive sources. So, you know, obviously if you feel like I'm that positive source, I will be more than happy to continue welcoming you on my channel. But as I already said, there are so many other sources that you may click with. There are lots of positivity blogs, positivity podcasts, and what you can of course also do, get your own oracle cards, get your own deck, or make your own deck. You know, whatever you feel sort of resonates with you and that you feel you can get answers from, and sort of have a little meditation sesh on a daily basis. I see that that is something that your spirit guides are trying to communicate with you. They're trying to let you know, like, hey, oracle cards. It's something that could really have a positive effect on your life. And in writing, I can see that something that you should be doing more often is writing. And you may be somebody who has always liked words, writing, reading. You may also be someone who didn't really used to like it. But either way, you know, your spirit guides are telling me that this is something that can inspire others, that you have sort of like a gift when it comes to words. So obviously words can always translate in many different ways. You know, you may be an artist who loves to create visuals with words. You may just love to write. You may just love to read. You may also like to use words and writing in the form of singing, in the form of music, in the form of podcast. Whatever way it is, I see that your spirit guides are completely certain of the fact that you can heal, inspire, teach, and entertain people with your words and the magic that are behind your words. So I want you to remember that you always need to believe in yourself, and you always need to remember that what you have to say does matter. So it can be easy to get lost in this world thinking, oh, you know, like what I say doesn't matter anyways, like who's gonna hear me? But that is not the case, and I want you to keep that in mind, and I want you to know that sometimes you are that person who actually changes a lot of people's lives. Sometimes you are that person that changes the world. You know, not everybody has a big visible impact, but everybody has something that they're meant to do, be it a visible impact or not so visible. But you're here and you have a purpose, and it's important for you to serve your purpose. And if that has to do with inspiring others through your words, you know, follow that purpose and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. And I can see in the career change that maybe you've already sort of been embarking on a new career path, or you've sort of been, you know, thinking of it, or maybe in your head you've already left your current job or your current studies, and you know, you're just kind of doing it because you feel like that's the right thing to do, or you feel like that's what is expected of you. And you know, it can be a really awkward situation, but at the same time, you know, I want you just to remember that strength is something that will be required of you very shortly. And I feel like, you know, that may have to do with your career change. So you may have already changed your career, or just mentally sort of changed your career, and you know that what you're currently doing is maybe not 100% resonating with you. So maybe you need just a little tweak, or you need to just leave what you're doing altogether. So I definitely see that you have to be very clear of what it is that you want, and you have to manifest the career change of your dreams. So obviously being very strong and standing your ground is going to be something that will help you, whatever career path you choose. But I also want you to know that you have to confide in the people who you love and who support you, and you also need to be willing to make changes at every corner. So obviously when you're trying to do your own thing, or when you're trying to change your career, there can be bumps, there can sort of be hiccups, and it's important for you to just think on your feet and be able to change direction whenever required. So keep that in mind, and don't give up at the first hurdle that comes if you do feel like this career change is something that you should be embarking on right now. But yeah, as a whole, I can see that your spirit guides are trying to communicate, you know, a lot of things that have to do with you inspiring other people also in your career, and just generally, you know, setting boundaries, feeling loved, as well as standing your ground is something that I see that is very important, and that your spirit guides would like to let you know. So yeah, group number 1, that is the reading that I received for you. I hope you enjoyed it and found it insightful, and I will see you in my next reading. Okay, group number 2, welcome to your reading about what your spirit guides are trying to communicate with you right now. So your cards are not in any particular order. I'm just going to pick them right off the top and tell you very intuitively what your spirit guides are trying to communicate with you, in order to get a very clear reading with a very strong connection to your spirit guides. So we're starting off with the Turkey spirit. So one thing that I see that your spirit guides find essential for you is to give and receive gracefully. Your spirit guides want you to especially receive in a grateful manner, because sometimes it can be hard to receive. You know, sometimes it's easier just to give, and receiving can be kind of an uncomfortable feeling depending on the kind of person that you are. So maybe receiving compliments can feel kind of uncomfortable for you, and you sort of would rather just deflect. But your spirit guides want you to know that it's important for you to accept and do it in a very graceful way. So for instance, if somebody pays you a compliment the next day, you know, tomorrow, today, and says to you, hey, your makeup looks really pretty, your hair looks really pretty, you just look really good and glowy, just accept the compliment, because the more you deflect, the more you tell yourself subconsciously that you are not even worthy of a compliment. So you can imagine what that may lead to later on, or what the bigger picture may be if you sort of let this fester and manifest into your soul, into your body, and into, you know, just every ounce of your being. It's not going to be a positive outcome, and you're not going to be able to manifest what it is that you want as long as you have those blockages of being unable to receive any sort of compliments, positivity, anything that somebody would like to give to you voluntarily. So that is what I want to start off with, and I want you to keep that in mind, as you know, it is a very important message coming from your spirit guides. Then moving on, we have the Milky Way. So I see that your spirit guides want you to put things into perspective. They want you to look at things from a different angle, and they want you to sort of give a little bit of space. They want you to see things from a new perspective. So I would just like to leave it at that and move on, just to get a bit more information. And in the Canary spirit, I can see that your spirit guides are urging you to sing your own song. So your spirit guides want you to do things your own way. So in correlation with the Milky Way, I can tell that your spirit guides want you to look at things in the way of, you know, how am I living my life? Are you living your life for you, or are you living your life to meet standards that your family has set, that society has set, or just, you know, standards that you feel have been set by somebody who isn't you? So see things from a different perspective. See things from the perspective of, what do you want? What do I really want? You know, what is it that will make me happy? Because at the end of the day, you need to be living life for you and for nobody else. So put that into perspective. Put your life into a different sort of setting where you can look at it from a good distance and really see, you know, am I doing what I want to do? Am I singing my own song? Am I sort of dancing to my own beat, or am I dancing to someone else's beat? So moving on, we have the Giraffe spirit. So one thing that is just, you know, strikes me is the fact that the Milky Way and the Giraffe spirit are both urging you to see the bigger picture. So especially the Giraffe spirit is here to let you know that you must see things from a distance. You must see the bigger picture. So maybe you're somebody who sort of gets like one negative comment or one negative sort of input, and it bugs you for the rest of the day. It bugs you for the rest of the week. You're like thinking about it, and it's something that you don't easily overcome or forget. But your spirit guides are here to tell you that you have to see the bigger picture. If those comments don't really have an effect on your life, or if you feel like, you know, it's not really, like, you know, it's not really worth it stressing about it, why are you stressing about it? If it won't really have an effect on your life anyways, then don't pay any mind, don't give it any further time, because you only live once. You don't know for how long you're going to be here in this form that you're in on this earth. So see things from the bigger picture, from the bigger perspective, and next time you get sort of a negative comment or something that you feel is not really helpful from somebody else, just think to yourself, you know, that person may have been having a bad day. You don't know what someone is going through in order for them to be lashing out on you, and that doesn't need to be a reflection of you. So any sort of negativity that may be coming from your surroundings, maybe it's somebody that you thought was your friend and has now all of a sudden like turned around to make you look bad. They're saying things that are untrue. I can see that it's important for you to take a step back and just think to yourself, you know, will this affect my life in 5 months time, in 5 years time, in 50 years time? You know, if it's not going to affect your life in 5 years time, why are you stressing about it now? If it's not going to affect your life in 5 months time, who cares, move on. There is so much more to do in a day rather than to stress about someone else's opinion or, how somebody else feels about you doing your own thing. So another thing that is very important for you to know and that your spirit guides have brought me here to tell you is the fact that you don't only need to be grateful for anything that someone wants to do for you. You also need to remember that, in the Canary spirit, doing your own thing will require a lot of courage and it will require a lot of strength for you. And you may sometimes feel like you're just this little itty bitty canary, and it can be scary and it can be intimidating. But you have to remember what you're doing this for, who you're living your life for. And I want you to truly feel and truly, remember that this life is something that just goes by so quickly, and you have to fulfill your dreams. You have to go after what makes you happy. You have to go after what lights you up. And if that is just building your own business or, becoming a mechanic, starting your own restaurant, whatever it is, you have to follow your dreams and your passions out of the pure intention of making yourself happy and nothing else. So moving on in your reading, we have the winter solstice. So I see that reflection is something that is very important for you. Reflection is something that is essential and that your spirit guides want you to look into in order to manifest the best results possible. So with reflection, I mean reflecting on yourself, on your life, on who you are becoming. So your spirit guides want you to see the big picture and see where you're heading in the big picture. So you might not be very happy with little things about you. So it could be something small about your personality, about your looks, but looking at the big picture, taking things from a new perspective, what effect do those things really have? Not really a very big effect. However, if you turn any sort of insecurities, imperfections, things that bug you around, and you use those in order to build confidence, in order to become this person who owns their flaws and owns any sort of imperfections, that will have an effect that is, a lot larger and a lot more impactful than if you're just sort of always, scanning through the things that you don't like. So I truly want you to reflect on how you speak to yourself, on how you handle situations with yourself and your insecurities, and look at it from a higher perspective where you're thinking, what can I do in order to be a more confident person in the future? What can I do in order to become that man, that woman, that person that I truly want to be? Moving forward, we have infinite abundance, energy healing, as well as study. So what I instinctively see is the fact that infinite abundance has showed up in your reading and waited for this long to reveal itself. So I definitely see that your spirit guides are trying to communicate with you the fact that infinite abundance is something that is here at your disposal. Infinite abundance is something that you have in your life and that you're fully supported as long as you devote yourself to your divine life purpose. So we've been talking a lot about doing your own thing, being grateful and seeing the bigger picture, as well as becoming more confident. So what I see is the fact that, infinite abundance will come once you learn to truly implement those things into your everyday life. And I see that what it may require is just, more research, more studying, more learning. Your spirit guides want you to know that you have to educate yourself in order to gain confidence. You have to do things that contribute to clarity, to your career, to reaching new heights that you may have not even known possible for yourself. So I definitely see that your spirit guides are here to tell you to do a lot more research, educate yourself on how you can become more confident, how you can sort of do what it is that you feel like you're meant to do, as well as, how you can see things from a distance, how you can distance your emotions away from any sort of negativity that may enter your life. And in energy healing, I see that you're naturally somebody who has healing energy. You're naturally somebody whose energy healing abilities are super important for your life purpose. So if you feel like you have not found your life's purpose, I want you to know that energy healing and being able to heal other people and help other people is a very important part of your life purpose, and is something that nobody can sort of teach you. It's something that you just need to have in you, and it is one of those attributes that you possess. So I definitely want you to reflect on today's reading. You know, the winter solstice is here for a reason, and it is because you need a little bit of time to think about what is going on in your life, what you truly want, and how you can create more abundance, how you can create your dream life. So your spirit guides want you to reflect on this reading, to take time to see things from a different perspective, as well as to make sure that you're moving in the direction that you and only you would like to move in. So group number 2, that is the reading that I received for you. I hope you enjoyed it and found it insightful, and I will see you in my next reading. Okay, group number 3, welcome to your reading about what your spirit guides are currently trying to tell you. Let's get straight into it. So I have not arranged your guidance in any particular way, so we are just going to be picking the cards right off the top and connecting with your spirit guides. So let's get straight into it. First off, we have the bee spirit. So your spirit guides are definitely trying to communicate with you that you have sweet results awaiting for you. You have results that are basically already sort of here for you. They've already been created by the universe for you, and they're just waiting for you to pick them up, so to say. So your spirit guides want you to know that, you know, as a bee, what the bee stands for is obviously hard work, but also communication and cooperation. So in a hive of bees, you know, each bee has a purpose. Each bee has a job, so to say, that he or she or it is here to do. So I want you to sort of remember that you're also here to fulfill a purpose. You also have things that you have to do, and in order to, you know, get the sweetness of life, to sort of taste the nectar, you have to work very hard and you have to fulfill that purpose specifically. So moving on, we have the nightingale spirit. So your spirit guides want you to know that love is something that is all around you, and it's important for you to not sort of feel like it isn't. So maybe you've been going through a rough time, or you're looking for a partner, you're looking for somebody to spend your life with, your time with, and you sort of feel like life is lacking love. But your spirit guides are here to tell you that love is indeed all around. And we have the number 41, which, you know, 4 and 1. 4 stands for very sort of a grounded scenario, a very sort of well-rounded time. So, you know, we have 4 seasons, 4 elements. 4 is sort of like a sign of completion in many different aspects. And 1 is a new beginning. 1 is, you know, a fresh start, something that has potential. So I want you to know that your spirit guides are also here to let you know that love is something that has potential in your life. Love is something that can grow back, that can repair itself, but you have to sort of put in work. If you already are in a relationship that you feel is maybe not going down the right path, you have to put in the work. And if you are not in a relationship, maybe you need to change your approach to love. But either way, your spirit guides are here to let you know that love is something that is around. Love is something that you just need to be patient about and also approach in as many different ways as you can. Then in the butterfly spirit, I can see that your spirit guides are trying to communicate with you to not panic, okay? Your spirit guides want you to know that transformation is something beautiful. Transformation is something that people need to go through in order to become, you know, bigger people, in order to become better people, people who have their life together, people who are happier. So know that you might have to go through a lot of transformations that may be uncomfortable, but at the end of the day, you know, transformation is beautiful. Transformation is something that is here to provide you with a fresh start. So we have the number 11. The double 1 stands definitely for a new start, without a doubt. 2 times the number 1 is just here to signify the fact that in order to truly bring new, beautiful aspects into your life, you need transformation, you need change, because if life is too repetitive, it sort of starts always creating the same outcome. So your spirit guides are here to let you know in the butterfly spirit that transformation is something that can be uncomfortable. Transformation is something that a lot of people struggle with, but you need to keep in mind that a butterfly transforms just from a little maggot into such a beautiful butterfly. And the in-between stages can be awkward, they can be uncomfortable, but at the same time, like, it's all for a bigger cause. It's all for something that is here in order to serve you. So if you're going through a lot of changes in your life, or you feel like you're changing and you don't know what's going on, and you feel like sort of lost, or like you haven't found yourself, or like you're losing yourself, I want you to know that transformation is happening to all of us, and it's constantly happening. Some of us are going through a more deep transition while others are going through a more manageable transition. But as a whole, we keep realizing things about ourselves, and our spirit guides are always here to support us and to tell us to look at the bright side, and also just to let you know that transformation is in the end always here for your benefit. So if you feel like you can't handle it, I just want you to try and remember that love is something that is in your life, that you do in fact have amazing results just around the corner waiting for you. Then we have the waterfall as well as the new moon. So in the waterfall, I can see that one thing that your spirit guides want to let you know is the fact that you sometimes need to let things flow. You sometimes need to just let things happen, because you can't always control every aspect. So maybe you're somebody who is uncomfortable with this transformation just because you like to have a good amount of control, because you like to know what's going on and where your life is going, and you like to push your life in a certain direction. But I see that your spirit guides definitely want you to know transformation is something that can happen in a very effortless way. Transformation is something that, if you just let it happen, is when it has the best outcome. And in the new moon, it's clear that your spirit guides want you to participate in sort of new moon wishes and new moon promises. So how does this work? So I want you to look into when there is the next new moon. I want you to look into when you can participate in making promises to yourself on the new moon. The new moon wishes work in a way that during the new moon, you sort of write down all of the aspirations that you have, everything that you want to achieve within, between one new moon to the next new moon, and that will help you manifest. It will help you sort of make this promise to yourself and try to stick to it, as well as, achieve your goals in a manner that sort of works with the rhythm of the moon as well as your body. So the next time that there is a new moon, make sure that you try manifesting through new moon wishes. Make sure that you write down all the things that you're grateful for, as well as all of the goals that you have between each new moon, and keep coming back to those. Keep coming back to, wherever you wrote it down, if it's on a journal or a piece of paper that you hang up somewhere where you can see it. Keep reading affirmations that you made during the new moon, and also keep sort of sending blessings to the people that you wrote down that are in your life that you're very grateful for, as that will sort of charge your life with a lot of positive energy and a lot of positive vibration. Okay, so we have leadership next. So your spirit guides are trying to tell you to take charge of the situation. So your spirit guides sort of feel like you could be a lot more of a leader, you could be a lot more authoritative, and you can take more charge of your situation. So if you sort of feel like you're in a situation where you have no control over it, your spirit guides are here to tell you that you don't always have 100% control of what happens to you, because outside circumstances are things that you cannot always control and that you cannot always influence, but you can always influence how you react to them and, what steps you take in order to keep your emotions at bay and keep yourself, calm and collected and in a positive space. Your spirit guides want you to work a lot more on your leadership skills in your life. They want you to work more on you sort of guiding yourself into positivity, you being the one leading yourself to the next goal and to the next target, rather than, you know, letting life or other people sort of taking charge and letting other people lead you. So make sure that you're the one leading, make sure that you're the one guiding yourself towards your goals, and also make sure that you always sort of set time limits and time frames, as we already sort of discussed in the new moon. So next up we have trust. So your spirit guides want you to trust in the universe. Your spirit guides want you to trust in positive energy and positive vibrations. So it's very essential for you to know that you can trust your feelings, as well as that you should not be ashamed of your dreams, your aspirations, as they are going to guide you onto the right path. They're always going to guide you in the direction that will end up in the most happy, joyful space, and also in a space where when you do put in hard work, you're going to get the results that you desire, because all the hard work that, you know, you can put in is not really worth anything if it's not going towards a cause that resonates with you, that you truly believe in. So your spirit guides are definitely trying to tell you to trust in what you feel is right. And last but not least, we have justice. You know, in correlation with trust, it's clear that you have to be a little bit more confident. You know, as we already have in leadership, you have to take charge a lot more. You have to be the one leading yourself to where you want to go, as nobody else is going to be able to do that for you. And moving on in justice, it's important for you to know that whatever it is that you're meant to do in life, whatever your life purpose is going to bring justice to other people. It's going to bring fairness into this world, and it has a purpose that is sort of has a positive effect on this planet, on this world. I see that your career is going to bring protection to those who need your help. It's going to help others who are in need, who cannot necessarily, you know, do what you can do for them for themselves. So you may be working with children, for instance, or with people who are just very vulnerable in society, or you might generally just choose a career path that is going to lead you to help people and lift them up and do something for humanity and society as a whole. So group number 3, those are the messages that I received from your spirit guides. I hope you found them insightful and that you enjoyed this reading, and I will see you in my next video. Okay, group number 4, welcome to your reading about what your spirit guides are currently trying to communicate with you. So I'm just going to get straight into the reading. I'm just going to pull the cards right off the top of the deck. They are in no particular order, so we'll just see what your spirit guides have to say to you. So first off, we have the dog spirit. So your spirit guides are trying to communicate with you that you have to stay loyal to your dreams. You have to stay loyal to what it is that you love. So I want you to keep in mind that, you know, the thing about dogs is the fact that they are so loyal, and they have learned to adapt in a way that they have now become friends of humans, which has led them to survive all these years, which has led them to, you know, go from a very sort of rough life to now being taken care of by us. So I want you to sort of allow yourself to do the same thing. I want you to be very loyal to what it is that, you know, brings you joy and happiness, but also what makes life easy for you, you know, just like dogs did. So what is it that makes life easy for you? What is it that you can do every single day that you cannot get sick of, that you feel provides for you, that you feel gives you sort of protection, as well as, you know, that warm sort of nurturing feeling? So I definitely see that your spirit guides are here to let you know that what it is that you love, what it is that brings you joy, protection, safety, security, is what you have to be loyal to, and what will in the end benefit you as a person as a whole the most. So moving on, we have the chameleon spirit. So in the chameleon spirit, it is clear that your spirit guides know that you're going through a trying time where maybe you sometimes need to act as if things were a lot better than they actually are, or you have to act like you know what you're doing when you really don't know what you're doing. So your spirit guides are clearly trying to communicate that you have to be loyal to what you love, and you have to be loyal to what it is that provides you with security, protection, all of those things, as well as, you know, if it is something relatively new, or if what you love is something that you just newly discovered, or you never knew that it was like your life purpose, you have to know that at the beginning you're just going to have to pretend like you know what you're doing in order to actually start to get used to this new life path. So in the chameleon spirit, you know, we have the number 1 and 4. 14. So if we dissect 14, we have 1 as sort of, you know, a new beginning, which always comes with insecurity. So that may also be a reason why your spirit guides let this chameleon spirit show up in your reading. The fact that, you know, when you're starting something new, when there's a new beginning, when there's something that you have never done before, it always comes with a little bit of insecurity. But 4 is a number of groundedness, is a number that shows that there is a strong foundation. It is a number that is sort of wholesome and complete. You know, we have 4 seasons, 4 elements. This just comes to show that even though things might be a little bit weird at the beginning, when you're just sort of, you know, doing life, even though you feel like you don't know what you're doing, it's important for you to know that in the end, it's going to be a very grounded, wholesome situation. So moving on, we have the squirrel spirit. So your spirit guides want you to believe in yourself. Your spirit guides want you to be confident and to move forward in a way that is, you know, acting as if you know what you're doing. You know, that's all what confidence is about. Just moving forward, not caring about what it may look like or what other people may think, but just focusing solely on yourself as well as believing in yourself. So in the squirrel spirit, we have the number 57. So I just want to let you know that 57 is a very nervous number. It is a number where there's a lot going on. It's 2 odd numbers, and there's sort of a lot of movement going on. So a lot of movement may lead to a lot of confusion. It may lead to a lot of hasty decisions. So just because you're acting as if, just because, you know, you're trying to believe in yourself, doesn't mean that you have to make decisions on the spot, or it doesn't mean that you have to be pressured into making very hasty decisions in your life. So I want you to remember that, you know, being confident as well as just sort of going with the flow doesn't mean that you sort of react to everything. I still want you to think things through very clearly and very thoroughly before you make any bigger decisions in your life. So moving on, we have music as well as the shaman. So in music, I can tell that one thing that your spirit guides want to let you know is the fact that music is something that can bring peace and harmony into your life at this given time. So what I see is that your spirit guides are very much of the opinion that music is something that will bring you peace, something that no other thing can sort of replace. So maybe music is something that you love, maybe music is something that you're passionate about, but you haven't put enough time in to truly, you know, indulge in, to truly create. Whatever it is that you like to do with music, maybe you just also like to sing along to songs, whatever it may be, you have to make time for more music, as that will create more harmony and more sort of positive vibrations in your life. And in the shaman, I can see that your spirit guides want to let you know that you don't always need to jump to any sort of like new age conclusion. So just because, for instance, you haven't been feeling well recently, or because you feel like something may be off with you, that doesn't mean that you have to jump to any sort of strong medication, anything that, you know, people are encouraging these days, because often there's also a lot of power in ancient healing wisdom. There's a lot of power in how our ancestors used to treat things with home remedies. So if, for instance, you know, you have bad skin, or you're suffering from migraines, or you feel like you have really bad anxiety, it is not always the best solution to go and medicate. Sometimes it's best to just look at how our ancestors dealt with it. Look at, you know, natural home remedies that you can do as a very holistic approach, that you can do as a very wholesome sort of thing. So For instance, if you have really bad skin, you know, look into how you can improve your diet, into how you can drink more fluids, and also how you can maybe do some at-home face masks that may be very antibacterial and healing to your skin in order to help you sort of prevent it getting worse. And, you know, if you have an issue, for instance, with anxiety, look at how you can use meditation as well as, you know, other sort of older healing wisdoms in order to combat that. So that may be, you know, certain foods, certain drinks, putting yourself in certain situations and mindsets mentally in order to help. Because sometimes the answer is easier to just be found in, you know, modern medicine rather than looking at it as a holistic approach. But when you see things as a holistic approach, you actually, you know, give your body the chance to repair itself. You give your body the chance to repair a lot of other things alongside these symptoms, because often, you know, symptoms such as bad skin, anxiety, you know, whatever it is that you have are often just symptoms of a bigger problem, of a bigger issue that you may have to tackle separately if you go the easier route, which is just, you know, instantly medicating with something that a doctor may prescribe. So I definitely want you to be cautious when it comes to medicine. I want you to be cautious with what you do put in your body, because at the end of the day, you know, your body is your temple. So even if there are trained physicians, you know, trained physicians are not perfect. They don't know you as well as you do. So at the end of the day, you need to be happy with your approach as well as with how you feel as a whole. So moving forward, we have teaching, creative expression, as well as flowers. So right now, your spirit guides feel as though working with flowers is something that can open your heart and that can help you to your life purpose or through your life purpose. So your spirit guides definitely feel like you have to work with, you know, the floral world. You have to either, you know, just get yourself some nice flowers, plant something, be in the nature and connect with sort of, you know, living being that plants are. And also being able to express yourself in a very creative way, in a way that you can let your soul unleash all its feelings, is another thing that your spirit guides want you to look into. So your spirit guides are here to tell you that you have to look into how you can creatively express yourself, as if you do not do that, that may create a lot of friction and blockages in your life. So if you feel like you have not creatively been able to express yourself, if you feel like you have not really been investing the time in creativity that you've always wanted to or that you used to, and you sort of feel like it's taking a toll on you, that may very well be true, because not being able to let out creativity and ideas sort of just ends up having this stuffy effect on you. Almost like when you have a cold and you're unable to sort of, you know, get all of the stuffiness out of your nose. So moving on in teaching, I can see that your spirit guides want you to know that you're somebody who leaves a lot of sort of inspiration on the ones that are younger than you. So maybe you have younger siblings, or you just have people in your life who are younger than you. And I want you to know that you're somebody who inspires them. You're somebody who sort of gives them this sense of importance also. So I want you to use that wisely. I want you to use your platform in a way that you're having a positive effect on those younger than you, because you inspire them to learn from you. So if you are a older sibling, or you have somebody in your life who is younger than you and very impressionable, they don't necessarily need to be younger, but just younger at heart, if you know what I mean. Be very careful with how you act around them, because you might have never realized how big of an impact you truly have when it comes to shaping them, to forming them into who they're once going to be. So make sure that you think thoroughly of how you express yourself in front of people who are younger, less experienced than you, how you speak to them, what you teach them, and what your actions reflect, as that may have an effect, you know, on the next generation, on the ones who look up to you. So yeah, group number 4, that is the reading that I received for you. I hope you found it insightful and helpful, and I will see you in my next reading.